So let's take you through the first of 20 different starting grids over the course of today. It's Mini and Mini Rookie up first, and it's the heat. Let's take you through the starting order. After qualifying this morning, Vic van Kampenhout starts on pole position. Will be joined by the 199 of Didier Dadali on the front row. Vince van der Halle and Lucas Stordeur will be on row 2, ahead of Gage Moyes and Devon Mieta, with AJ Berggraaf and the leading Mini Max rookie driver in qualifying, the number 12 of Noah Stehalder. Jeff Verbeek will be joined by the number 9 of Tristan Abeels on the next row. That is row number 10. That's row number 5, completing the top 10. Jent de Munnen and Lian Hauger ran out row 6. Row 7, Victor Reutz and Matthias Verreken. Row 8, Zen Lindemann and Dayan Habits, with row 9 completed by Lian Herbos and Jack Depre. Completing the top 20 is James van der Poel and Ryan Rampadaras. So completing the 24 strong grid will be Jara Kivits-Bosch, Jesse Simonen, Nikita Lyubimov, the sole Estonian representative, and Matthias Klever rounding out the 24 strong grid. We have had a spinner coming out of turn number 3 as the drivers go on to their official formation lap ahead of their heat, which will be 7 minutes plus 1 additional lap of racing around this 1,388 metre circuit. So it will be down to Vic van Kampenhout and Didier Dadali to control the pace. Sorry, it's 10-minute heat. For the seniors, it's 7 minutes for their respective heats. So we have got a very, very compacted timetable over just one single solitary day of racing. To catch up with a lot of familiar faces and people in the paddock yesterday. And Damien Allo saying, thanks for the live coverage. No, you're more than welcome. We aim to please at the end of the day. So the drivers start making their way through the very technical part of the circuit here at Mariembourg. You can see the Mojo, the road tax, and the XPS banners in the background being literally ferried around in the breeze as the drivers are making their way through into the final right-hander. Some drivers moving from side to side, including Nikita Lyubimov. Matthias Klever in the 113 starting to bring up the rear of the field. But we are under starters' orders for the first time for our first of 20 races here. It's the Minimax Mini Rookie Heat, 10 minutes on the timer plus an additional lap. Out of the chicane they go into the tram lines. Revs rise, lights are on, and the lights are out. It looks to be the case, or have we got we are underway, it looks like. Yep, the timer is counting down at the moment as the field makes its way through into turn number 2 for the first time. Into turn 3, Didier Dadali has ended up down in second position as Vince van der Halle has got through for P2, but Vic van Kampenhout through into the 90 left at turn 4 has got an early lead as they're going through into turn 5 and look side by side at some points. As there is a battle for 4th place, that's between Devon Mieta and Lucas Stordeur. As they now make their way into the technical part of the circuit. And then now it's starting about applying the power and coming through the penultimate right-hander. But after the opening lap so far, Vic van Kampenhout leads the way ahead of Vince van der Halle. Didier Dadali is battling away with Lucas Stordeur for P3 as they come. Well, no, it's Gage Moyes. Gage Moyes up from 5th and has got past Lucas Stordeur and is now going on the offensive. Round the outside goes Gage Moyes on Didier Dadali through turn 2. Has to slot back in behind and wait for another opportunity. 8 minutes and 40 plus an additional lap still to go. And Van Kampenhout and Van der Halle are leading the way. Dadali's the cork in the bottle at the moment. Bottle at the minute as Gage Moyes has Lucas Stordeur just behind into Chemin de Fer. Up the inside goes Gage Moyes on Didier Dadali, and does Stordeur get through? Not quite, but he's hanging around the outside. That's going to bring Devon Mieta into this, along with Jent de Munnen. Mieta ends up going off the circuit, and Jent de Munnen makes every single bit of that opportunity work in the favour of the 1-1-0. Brilliant stuff there from Jent de Munnen, just taking full advantage of the situation. But after the second lap, new fastest lap of the race, Vince van der Halle, as there goes Jent de Munnen up the inside of Didier Dadali, through at turn number 1. And there is Lucas Stordeur, now going to get through on Dadali, the 199, but there's a little bit of a touch between the pair. And Stordeur gets through at turn number 3, but hard and fast racing in this opening 3 laps. Van der Hollen was 3/10 behind Vic van Kampenhout in the battle for the race lead. Biggest gainer so far, no surprise here. Estonia's Nikita Lubimov now is up another place I've just seen. I think what I just got through on Devon Yater. So Lubimov started all the way back down in 23rd position. Well, no surprise why he's one of the most promising young talents from Estonia. He's already made good his intentions. But the battles are fast and furious in this first race of the day. It's not going to be an easy one. Well, Didi Dadal has just lost out to Nikita Lubimov. That's 6th place for the Estonian. Runs over in continental Europe with the Bouvin Power. Got to know Nikita and his dad Alex over the past couple of years. Great, wonderful people. Very, very kind and always smiling. But when the red mist and the visor comes down, let's just say that the inner spirit shines brightest with that young driver. As there goes the 116 and Lindemann. Great to see this man back on a track for me to commentate on. A great young driver, also a little bit of a character. Great to see him and his dad Nick back in the paddock. We are 40% of the way through the race with the timer counting down, so coming up to 6 minutes plus an additional lap. One side pod on one card has been given a little bit more tyre rather than it probably wanted. Now there's going to be a change. Lubimov past Lucas Stordeur. That's for P5. So the Estonian now up 18 places and still has a chance to close on in on the drivers in front. But the gap between Vic van Kampenhout and Vince van der Hollen stems at about just under half a second at this moment. Gage Moyes, Jens Moonen, Nikita Lubimov, Lucas Stordeur, Didi Dadal, Zen Lindemann, Jeff Verbeek, and Devon Yater ran at the top 10. Leading mini rookie driver Noah Stayholder, currently down in 15th place. As Lindemann is trying to hustle the 116 Power Kart Racing Birol Art chassis. Past Didi Dadal in, might get the opportunity next time round. As Gage Moyes is having to defend against Jens Moonen for that 3rd place. Over the slight incline, over the crest. There are Moyes and Gage Moyes and Jens Moonen. Nikita Lubimov already starting to drop Lucas Stordeur a little bit to the tune of about 0.3 of a second. Jens Moonen now finds at this point through turn 3, that was the opportunity to get through on the 134 of Gage Moyes. And Moyes is not going to let that go. Through into turn number 5 at breakneck speed into Chemin de Fer here at turn number 6. Got to be really, really careful on the brakes heading into that corner. And the next part of it, you know, going through into turn 7 through the chicane, you're really having to be on tenterhooks at that point. But Van der Hollen is closing in on the race leader. As Van Kampenhout now is in danger. 6/100ths of a second after 6 frantic full throttle laps of this circuit here at Mariembourg. Van Kampenhout was holding on by 6/100ths. That is next to nothing. Van der Hollen now has the opportunity to really look at where he can strategize his offensive, and he's going to leave it as late as possible. I can guarantee you that much. Battles up and down the order. So Gage Moyes and Jens Moonen. Nikita Lubimov is now threatening to be in the top 3, possibly by the checkered flag. And Moonen is, yes, I've just seen it. Nikita Lubimov is up to 4th, has got past Gage Moyes, and Lucas Stordeur is not that far behind either. But now the gap is starting to expand a little bit here between Vic van Kampenhout and Vince van der Hollen. Van der Hollen was over 2.5 of a second quicker than Van Kampenhout. He's lost that differential in comparison. And now Jens Moonen is about 0.8 of a second ahead of Nikita Lubimov. Didi Dadal rounds out the top 10. We're into the final 2 3/4 minutes. And look at the freight train coming through turn 1 there. My goodness, that's outside of the top 10, I believe, as they're now making their way through. There is a CRG at the front of it. So who's stuck in the middle? 127. Liam Hauger. So I would probably say Leon Herbos is there. James Van der Poel is there. But again, look how quickly the pendulum has swung in the favour of Vince van der Holle. But Van Kampenhout is staying to his guns, holding station, defending as he should do. But now with 2 minutes to go, Van der Holle up the inside, through at turn 1 on Van Kampenhout, who had led every one of the 8 laps up until he lost out on lap 9 at turn 1. Vic sporting a new livery, thanks to a new partner that's come on board, which is really, really good to see. So, minute and 36 seconds plus an additional lap to go in this opening race out of 20. And the drivers really putting on a bit of a show here. In Mini-Max and Mini-Max Rookie, we'll have our first of 3 senior Rotax heats up shortly at B versus C. Van der Holle leading the way, but Van Kampenhout decides, well, you know what, you chased me for quite a bit. Now it's my turn to return the favour. And over the stripe they go, completing lap number 9. Van Kampenhout, how far behind Van der Holle was he? 6/100ths of a second, exactly what we saw earlier on at one point, around about lap 5. But now there's the opportunity that Vic Van Kampenhout needed up the inside through turn number 5 to retake the race lead off of Vince van der Holle as they go storming their way through the noisy left at turn 4. This is going to come down to the final lap. I can very much assure you of that, ladies and gentlemen. Through Chemin de Fer, into the chicane, neatly done, well negotiated by those drivers. Nikita Lyubimov now is with Jens Moonen in the battle for P3. Gage Moyes in 5th. Lucas Tordo rounds out the top 6. So this is going to be down to the wire between the top 2 as to whether we get 1 and 1 more, or will we get the final lap board. It's going to be close and literally on the buzzer. On the buzzer. So 2 laps to go, and Vic Van Kampenhout leading Vince van der Holle by just over a 10th after 10 laps. Lyubimov through on Moonen. Moyes versus Stordeur. That's still going on like a freight train at the minute. Victor Reitz in 7th. Zen Lindemann, Jeff Verbeek and AJ Berggraf round out the top 10. Berggraf making the move to SP Motorsport, I think, a little bit earlier on between some of the races. Was confirmed as one of their drivers. The team run by Stan Pex, who's currently competing in the Deutsche Cup Meisterschaft this year, which had its opening round just last week at Mulsen. But next time around, we'll have the last lap board for the first time today here at Karting de Fang International Raceway at Mariembourg. And it's going to be Van Kampenhout, Van der Holle, Lyubimov, Moonen. That is your top 4 as we head on to the last lap. So, the big question is, when, not if, Van der Holle gets through on Van Kampenhout. Well, they've got coming up to half a lap to go, and Van Kampenhout is holding on. Van der Holle into Chemin de Fer. Look to try and get the crossover. 130, not able to have that opportunity afforded to him because, simply put, Vic Van Kampenhout was on his markers. Right, it's going to be a run to the line here for the Mini-Max and Mini-Max Rookie Heat. Van der Holle jumping up and down in the seats. But it's going to be a run to the line. Van der Holle willing the cart to go forward. But it's going to be Vic Van Kampenhout that holds on by a whisker. 75 thousandths of a second separating your winner and second place. Oh, that's just for starters, folks. That's just for starters. So Vic van Kampenhout, after 12 laps of racing, wins by 75 thousandths of a second, ahead of Vince van der Hollen. And with Nikita Lyubimov, no surprise, the youngster from Estonia moving up 20 places to finish P3. Jent Timonen and Gage Moyes complete the top 5, with Victor Reitz and Lindemann, who made up 8 places from 15th to finish 7th. Jeff Verbeek 8th, with AJ Bergeraff, Lucas Dodder running at the top 10, Didier de Dalit, Matthias Verreken, Devon Mieta, James van der Poel, Liam Herboz, Liam Hauger, Ryan Rampadarat, who wins in Mini Rookie in 17th, ahead of Noah Stehalder, and with Jesse Moonen running at the top 3 in that class, with Dayan Havitz completing the top 20 in the 131. Rounding out the finishers, all 24 drivers made it to the checkered safe and sound. Tristan Abils, Jarakiewicz Bosch, Matthias Clever and Jack Depe rounding out the finishing order. So that concludes Mini and Mini Rookie for the heat. We'll see them a little bit later on for their pre-final at 1:35 p.m. Coming up next, Senior Rotax Heat 1, Groups B versus C.